everything above the purple line as your last chance to revise it or turn it in late.
Hi, I'm Ileana Sherry. I work at the International School of the Americas. Currently, I teach English 2 honors to all 125 students here. This is my 5th year teaching, and I did a 6th year prior to that in the Masters of Teaching internship here.
Now today our objective is to analyze the impact of literary devices.
So I'm one of those people that always knew they wanted to be a teacher. I grew up with a single mom, and so I spent a lot of time in daycares and around educators, and that level of care and connection that you're able to develop with other people, especially teachers, made me want to do that. My approach is student-centered. So for example, this year I asked the students what they wanted to learn. We spent the first week co-creating a syllabus together to make sure that education was truly authentic and meeting them where they were and meeting their interests.
Raise your hand if you'd like a hard copy.
You know, there are those teachers that you can see as they're teaching that this is their passion and that they put the students at the forefront of everything. That's Ileana.
I'll take that as a yes, and you can just fill out the permission slip at some point this week.
My goal is to help kids see the joy in learning and help kids realize how much power they have in the world, and that the skills they learn in this class will just help them access that power.
And what about you? What's your favorite?
In the classroom, Ileana does these one-on-one conferences with students. She meets with all 125 of her students one-on-one to talk through their essay with them and to give verbal feedback. And she does that outside of class time and makes sure that if there are students that need to have a one-on-one conference again, she'll be there.
Oh, you should add it to the list.
I think it's incredible to see what just a little encouragement does for students. I think they hear a lot of negative feedback all day, including in their written feedback on work. And so to get those small moments of encouragement and connection really helps to push them to engage more in class.
A lot of times as I'm thinking about my own practice, I seek out her as a colleague and as a mentor to think through what are ways that I can be better as a teacher and what are ways that our school can be better for our kids.
And you can come in on Wednesday after school to complete that with me, okay?
So a big part of my practice is self-reflection and reflecting on our own processes. So at the end of each essay, for example, they reflect, well, here's what I struggled with, here's what I did well, and here's my goal for next time. And I start to see students say, oh, Ms. Scheer, I can write that essay in my sleep. I know how to do that. You taught me how to do that. And them saying that shows me that they get it.
You take that 3D block and you slice it and you get a 2D slice.
Hi, I'm Bruce Gonzalez, and I teach geometry and algebraic reasoning here at Legacy of Educational Excellence, co-teach.
How do I know how much this can hold?
My task, my goal, is to help them achieve their goals. The first day of class, the first thing we always do is write your goal. That in and of itself is a lesson because a lot of them will put 70. And I'm like, why are you only shooting for 70? I want them to shoot higher. And if I can move at least their goal a little bit higher, I think they'll land where they need to. And so starting with the end in mind is super important.
The space that the shape takes up.
Bruce treats everybody the same. He sees them as individuals of value, and he wants to value them and raise them up, and help them to get from where they are to where they need to go.
Here we go. Now this is gonna get a little messy, but
it can be pretty difficult. I sometimes jokingly say I'm selling a product that nobody wants sometimes. And so overcoming that barrier, one of my biggest goals is to connect with students, engage them, get to know who they are. As my late co-teacher taught me, to reach the whole student. She would always be like, you are gonna be this. And just, who knows if these kids have ever heard that before, you know? And so inspiring students and leaving that legacy, you know? And when I think of Mrs. Marrero and what my teaching style is now that I've adopted from her, it's legacy, which is very appropriate given our school's name. I'll bring in little references that they know, whether it's dances, songs, videos, you know, we really try to get really engaging, interesting songs. So there's kids at the end of the year, again, I start with the end in mind. At the end of the year, we reflect, and a lot of them will, what did you remember most about the class? And usually it's not a formula or a math concept, but it's hey, when we did this, and this was memorable. They're the same base, okay? So what you notice about the bases?
He looks at people where they are. He looks at students, sometimes who have a very low self-esteem and just feel that they're kind of cast away or not seen, and he raises them up. He raises their understanding of their value as a person, and he wants them to grow to that next level. And so I think that drives everything of who Bruce is and how he interacts with people.
You want to focus on the one thing that people mess up on, not y'all, other people.
One of my biggest things I try to communicate is that I'm on your team. So it's not you versus the teacher, it's you and me versus that goal that you wrote down. That's the thing you're trying to overcome. Because when you succeed, I succeed. Your report card is my report card. And of course, I want you to succeed. I want to succeed.
But then we're gonna add these little lines.
Okay.
My name is Katie Philbrick. I'm the data architecture teacher and I've been teaching for 14 years. And I'm gonna show y'all how to shade the tree over. This life would have been a lot simpler if I knew what the end was. However, I didn't go to school for teaching. We're just gonna do 3 reflection lines.
Okay. She went off to college at Texas Tech. She graduated with a degree in architecture and business, came back to San Antonio, decided to live in the Windcrest community, started working for an architectural firm, and after 2 years there said, I need to do something more, and came back to give back to the kids.
It's gonna span the whole distance of it, right? I realized as I was in the architecture firm that I felt like I wasn't learning anything anymore. I missed the education side. And so I thought my mother was a teacher for over 30 years, and so it runs in the family. And then I got this job 14 years ago, and it was the perfect fit for me.
Not only just these, but what else are you saying?
She just continues to go above and beyond, not only for the school, but for the students. She has impacted their lives for entry-level principles of architecture classes, then carrying on to architectural design, practicums in architectural things, connections to firms with architecture. But overall, it's just about giving back to the community and pouring into them. There's not a thing she wouldn't do for her kids to help them be successful in their own careers.
As a teacher, I really encourage my students to think creatively. My class is really about the whole creative process, how to take a problem, figure out how to solve it through various means, whether it's through drawing, whether it's through the computer programs, and whether it's just through talking it out and thinking things through. All the way to the edge, because then we're gonna open it up. I have learned so much, and they have influenced my life in such a way that makes me want to be a better person every day. They push me to think outside the box. They push me to problem solve just like I push them. So going through the creative process with them, struggling with them, trying to solve the answers with them is really what I love the most about being a teacher.
What color are the doors?
When I see that connection being made from what they're doing in class and the things that they're actually learning, I really just hope that they apply that to their life outside of the classroom. And that's, I don't know, the most rewarding thing that I could get from my students.